here we are, week 39. This is going to be the last week that we have a full week of reading from the Old Testament. That's right. Next week, we get to start the New Testament, and very exciting stuff it is. Well, today, here on day 1, we're going to finish up the book of Esther with chapters 6 through 10. Well, we have already seen how God calls the most unlikely of people to be used by God for God's purposes. In today's story, as it ends up, we see a series of reversals that take place. In the story, we have a man by the name of Haman who is out to get his revenge on the Jews, particularly by focusing his hatred and anger on Esther's uncle Mordecai. He's trying to avenge long past grievances, and we, as modern day readers not familiar with the culture, might miss out on some of these things. Haman, the great evil or villain in our story, Haman, boo, hiss, is an Amalekite. Now, the Amalekites were one of the first nations to oppose the Israelites when they were on Exodus through the wilderness before entering the Promised Land, way, way, way back in the Pentateuch. And so we might have forgotten that. It's easy to overlook that. But here's what's interesting, is that Haman is a descendant from that nation, the Amalekites. And specifically, he is a descendant of a king by the name of Agag. Well, again, we would have just probably read over this without thinking too much about it, but in 1 Samuel, the first of the Israelite kings, King Saul, who is from the tribe of Benjamin, when they go against the Amalekites, he does not kill King Agag, which was what God had said he needed to do. Now, a few hundred years later, Haman, the descendant of this king, who was, put to shame by having his kingdom destroyed by the Benjamite king, the king from the tribe of Benjamin, is now focusing his anger and his desire for vengeance against Mordecai, who is also a Benjaminite. And what we see, of course, is that instead of Haman winning, there is a devastating reversal for him at the end here. What we do see is among Mordecai and Esther are heroes who submit and trust in God, even when circumstances seem to be against them. While the ultimate hero, God, is not named by name, his fingerprints remain all over this story. Are there times in your life when perhaps you don't think about God, but you can see God's fingerprints on your life as well? Take a moment now to praise God that he is there in our midst, guiding our way every day, even when we are not cognizant or aware.